Hello and welcome to another video from Easy Academy. In this particular video, we're going to be covering the differences between NoSQL data stores and relational data stores and when you can pick one over the other. A lot of times we may try to use the wrong tool for the job, or we try to use the particular data store in which we are very comfortable with using, and we end up observing a lot of performance challenges and problems. This is not because the tool that we're trying to use is not right. It is just that we're using the wrong tool for that particular task. So I get a lot of questions about when do I know when to use a relational store like MySQL, Oracle, PostgreSDB, and Microsoft SQL Server, and when do I use a NoSQL store like MongoDB, Elasticsearch, and so on. So I just want to give you some of these different scenarios, and then we're going to cover all these different data stores shortly. So in this particular video, what we're going to be focusing on is making the right move and also picking the right data store that fits the particular scenario in which you are trying to solve for. So we have two major categories of data stores: the traditional relational databases, and then we also have a new family of data stores known as NoSQL. Also, sometimes they say it is not only SQL. So these are the two major categories that we're going to be considering in this video, and I would walk through all of them. For relational stores, you may be familiar with some examples like Microsoft SQL Server, you have Oracle database, you have PostgreSQL, you have MySQL, and then that morphed into MariaDB. So these are your traditional, typical relational data stores that you use in your applications or to support your applications. Then we also have the other category, which is NoSQL, or not only SQL or not only SQL data stores, where you have white column stores. So white column stores are the first category I would cover, and some examples are Cassandra and HBase. We also have key value stores such as Redis and Memcache. We have document stores like MongoDB. We have Elasticsearch and Apache Solr that may also be used as document stores, and we have Neo4j, the graph store. So these are some of the key categories. I'm going to do a deep dive into each of these categories and tell you not just the examples, but what and scenarios you want to use those particular data stores for. Now, for relational stores, in this particular scenario, you're already familiar with this. This is the typical structured query language data stores, which structured query language or SQL is used to interact with these data stores. So when would you use a relational store? A relational store is necessary when we have different entities, like you see in this scenario. We have a student, we have course, we have grades, we have class and module. So all these entities or tables are different, but they are in some way connected to one another, where the primary identifier in one table is used as a source of connection in another table. Sometimes you may call that a foreign key. So in all these different data stores, there is a need to store this data separately, but also have a way or a query language that you can, when it's time for you to retrieve and filter, you can use this query language to connect all these different entities together. So the key scenario here is that the data must be kept separately, but at query time or at retrieval time, you have to use a query structure that allows you to merge all these different data sources and then display the result. That is the typical use case where relational stores are needed. So like MySQL, PostgreSQL, MariaDB, Oracle, all those relational stores, they have this particular example. The data must be kept separate, and you have to use a query language that allows you to connect them together. Now, that is for relational store. So the key word here is that there has to be a relationship and at query time, you typically have the need to retrieve all the data together. Now, I'm going to do a deep dive into each of the different NoSQL or not only SQL data stores. The first one is white column store. So white column store will be something like Cassandra or something like HBase. When do you need to use a white column store? You need to use a white column store where you would have columns that are scanty, but in white column stores, you don't have the need to do joins. So joins are optional and not needed in white column stores. When I say the phrase scanty is where you have all these different records in a particular database, but the columns are kind of not present in all the records. So some records in this particular table may have certain columns, and some records may not have those particular columns. And typically when you need to do a particular query, you only need maybe to find an aggregate value in a specific column, like minimum value, maximum value, sum, average, standard deviation, and all those things. So a white column store is the first category of NoSQL data stores I'm going to consider, where you need to display the contents, but you don't necessarily have to store them together. The white column store typically stores the value in columns, like the name suggests, but the relational store stores it in rows. So that's the main use case for scanty columns and where you need to perform aggregate queries on specific columns. Now, for key value store, typically in this particular scenario, you have the need to perform a query where you need to pull data from multiple sources. So you don't want to be able to, you don't want to be doing this all the time. You want to be able to pull the data once, store the value using the particular unique identifier, and then on subsequent calls you want to be able to specify the key to see if it exists. If it exists, you retrieve it and display it instead of having to go to each of the different data stores or tables to retrieve this data. Think about something like a profile of a user. Sometimes we may have to pull data from multiple sources to display this profile data, but it does not change all the time. So what we can do is we can use a key value store to keep track of this, where maybe the user ID or the social security number or the email address or some other unique identifier is the key, and the value is all the content we want to display for the profile of the particular person. So you pull the data, you put it in the key value store, and then at query time you pull it out by the key and display it. And this adds performance to the application because the retrieval time for this particular data is not taking too long, or it's not long. So websites that display product information, profile data, and all these different data sets use key value store a lot to optimize the performance of such applications. So the next one I want to talk about is document stores. Document stores are similar to key value stores, but the difference is that when you want to retrieve, you don't just use one particular value. You may use you may have to use multiple columns to filter and to retrieve and display the data. So a very good example of this is MongoDB, where MongoDB allows you to store the record as a JSON object or similar data structure, and then at query time you don't just have to specify just the key. You can specify the unique identifier, or you can use multiple fields within this complex JSON data structure to retrieve the data set. So the key difference between a key value store and a document store is that the document store allows you to use multiple fields at query time. So that's one scenario you may consider. Search stores are very similar to document stores, but it allows you to do natural language search where you can use keywords, you can highlight the matching keywords, you can use synonyms. So document stores typically do not support that, but search stores like Elasticsearch and Solr would allow you to do that. And then lastly, we have graph stores. Graph stores are used in scenarios where you have data that is connected. So you may have social media data where somebody is following someone, or someone is connected to one person and then that person is linked to another person. And if you want to perform queries that are based on how all these different records are connected, you need to use something like a graph store, maybe like Neo4j, to store this data, which allows you to store the data in a way that is efficient, keeping track of the connections, the properties of each of the records, as well as the relationships between those records. And then at query time, you can also perform efficient retrieval. So just to summarize, some of the key things you have to take a look at is that we have NoSQL databases, we have relational databases. Relational databases are typically used when you want to store the data separately, but you want to have a way of using SQL to retrieve it at query time. Whereas with NoSQL databases, there are multiple categories that, depending on the particular use case, you have to pick the right one to get the right performance. So don't always feel like you have to use a relational store for everything. Consider the different scenarios in which you may have to use it. And if you want to do a deeper dive and actually have something hands-on where you can practice these different scenarios, I have a course that I created that talks about the different scenarios and the different use cases, and there are also hands-on example where you can see how to implement all these different scenarios relating to whether picking the relational store or picking the different NoSQL data store categories that you will see. So the link to the course is going to be put in the description section, and I am also going to have a direct link that you can use to see it. So that's it for this particular video. I will see you on the next video, but before that, if you have any questions, please feel free to put it as a comment in this particular video. If you also feel this video was beneficial, please like it, give it a thumbs up, and also share with other people that you believe might benefit from this content. So I really appreciate your time today, and thank you for watching my video, and I will see you in the next video.